What's going on, babe? It's your host, Banks, and I'm here with another episode of Beauty Banks Radio, where we talk all things beauty and business. We make sure to have a few laughs along the way, too. But today, we're keeping things serious on a topic in the beauty industry, which is licensing. License or to not have a license? That is the question. And it honestly all boils down to where you live and work. There are some roles in the industry that do not require a license, and then there are careers in the industry where it's totally required. In this episode, we covered the basics behind licensing and whether you really need a license or not. What exactly is a license? A license in the beauty industry is administered by the Department of Professional Occupations and Regulations, and for short, that's DPOR. Your license states that you have completed the necessary requirements to work in the state. Driving. Our license speaks on our behalf, saying I have passed the required testing and completed the required hours to do my thing up and down these roadways legally. That's the basis of having your license in the beauty industry as well. Instead of driving school, you head to beauty school, and your hours are made in a salon setting supervised by someone who has their license. Think of this like your driving permit. But in beauty, you will have to pass your licensing exam and have approved hours with education from an accredited school. More important than just knowing what you're doing. It keeps people safe and healthy around us and makes sure that we don't spread crazy diseases. For example, could you imagine if a salon never placed their combs in barbicide and used the same comb client after client? We know that's totally wrong, but the health aspect is the bigger issue here than technique. You could easily pass a fungus from one client to another, and maybe it passes to their loved ones, and now it's an outbreak that happened all on your hands. Safety is a big reason why we have regulations and a licensing requirement. When you know this, I think it shows that you care for your client's best interests, putting their health and safety at a number one priority. I think it also really shows that you are professional and you take your job seriously. If beauty is your passion, why wouldn't you get a license? That shows what that really is, right? So if you want to show that you are a professional, you do the same way a doctor would. You put in the work, you recorded those hours, and you pass those tests that let your clients know you know what you're doing. You're also allowed to treat yourself seriously for doing so. It's a major accomplishment earning your license in the beauty industry. We're talking about $1 billion industry that you're in. That's some serious shit, trustee. You better clap it up for yourself. But let's get back to being professional. And as a professional, it sets the standard of what clients expect in the industry. For example, a balayage. There's a way to do it and there's a way to ruin it. Learning techniques takes time, but with the industry standard, everyone knows what to expect when a client wants a fringe bang. Could you imagine how crazy the industry would be if we didn't have standards? Oh, things would be so gross. Imagine that. I can smell the lawsuits. I can smell the lawsuits from here, which actually brings us to our next point in licensing, which is important being protecting our clients. Without industry standards. Let's say you don't sweep the hair from your previous client and your client slips. Because of your negligence, you hurt your client. This will also be an example if you didn't clean your tools and just transfer bacteria from client to client. Now your client's breaking out after your service. I always say this, treat your clients like guests in your home. I like to entertain. You come over my house, I'm bringing out the spreads, the boards, the drinks. Baby, what do you want? I got you. And I want my clients to feel my hospitality too. You're welcome and you're protected here, and I want you to have the best service day with me as possible. And when you protect your clients, you're really protecting yourself, which is what a licensing does. And when you practice without a license, it says, hey, I didn't complete the necessary requirements to say I know what I'm doing, even if I do, which opens you up to litigation simply behind the fact that you service someone without a license. Say something doesn't go wrong and a client finds out that you aren't licensed. You can face jail time in some states. Have you heard about the veneer techs? Basically, there are people out here who are not dentists and they're placing permanent teeth with cheaper material, giving them a Hollywood smile. The only people allowed to do this, though, are dentists, and these people are going to jail and being sued left and right with hefty fines. The bigger issue that they are seriously hurting people, and it's all for a quick come up. And I think in the instances of the veneer techs, the litigation is well deserved, and it shows just because you think you know how to do something, it doesn't mean you're always right in doing so. There are many industries where people are hurt from one of people that are not licensed, searching for a cheaper alternative or whatever the case may be, and it's hurting people physically and financially. You don't want to add yourself to that mess, trustee. Let's try to stay out the courtroom for all things possible. Let's stay out of that courtroom. And you do so by knowing what careers require a license and what careers do not. Starting with careers that require a license. Cosmetologists. Cosmetologists do it all. They do the hair, skin, nails, and makeup. Many of them specialize in one area, but they are licensed to be able to do it all. Cosmetologists go through intense schooling, learning the ins and outs of the body, how to cut and apply colors, and even acrylic nail sets. So when you have your cosmetology license, you have many options. Maybe you do hair for a while, switch it up and do nails. You can do so with your cosmetology license without going back to school, but I would definitely recommend, if you do go that route, to take a refresher course and just get some practice in it there. Our next career that requires a license would be nail techs. Nail techs are required to have a license, and I don't think people realize how delicate our hands and fingers really are. The tools that techs use can damage your skin and create sores that can get bacteria in them, and now you have a fungus that's taking your entire nail off. I mean, that's really disgusting, but it's also painful, and you will probably hurt a bit financially if people grant you as the fungus giver nail tech. So learning your anatomy and all the layers of your finger and your nail are taught in school, and it's really important to know if you want to become a nail tech. Another career that requires a license would be an esthetician. Esthets work with your facial skin, and we all know our faces can be a very sensitive area. Estheticians may also apply lashes, and an even more sensitive area are our eyes. I mean, someone could really blind you if they didn't know what they were doing around your eyes. And getting a facial to individual lashes, both are areas that you should be working with a license. It's really better safe than sorry in this area, because you know you can really, really, really hurt someone. So now that we've talked about areas that require a license, can we agree that these areas it's pretty necessary to have one? I would think so. Okay, yeah, you catch me on the agree side this time, Trustee. But let me know in the comments if you agree with these areas need a license or not. Okay, now let's jump into areas that don't require a license. Starting with makeup artists. This is an area that I fell in love with early on in my life. I remember being about 3 years old, and I would wait until my mom was asleep and playing her makeup. I wonder if she knew I was in her stuff. I mean, she never said anything, but maybe she'll let me know when she would listen to this episode. I don't know. but anyway, makeup is an area that many of us love, and it is an area that does not require a license. So maybe I was supposed to be working as an MUA at 4 and getting the teachers ready in kindergarten. I don't know. With inflation, I'm thinking maybe I should have started in preschool. But seriously, makeup is an area where you can learn a lot through practice, but it is very important that you keep up with your beauty hygiene. Definitely if you're working on clients. You can learn a lot from YouTube in this area about keeping your brushes and kit clean, and also building your kit with disposable products. And another career that doesn't require a license would be my comb wash and blow dry crew, my braiders and my wig installers. You do not need a license for either in many states. If you wash a client's hair, you are now entering into the realm of cosmetology. And with braiding, outside of knowing how to part and braid, that's the most that you're doing to a client's hair. You aren't really coloring or changing the pattern with chemicals. And as far as wig installers, you don't need a license, because many of the prep work is either braids, and then the client's hair is in a protective style, and then it's even more protected once we add in netting and a ball cap. So in both of these areas, we see very few issues happening. They do happen, but not as a great magnitude as like a color gone wrong or cutting your client during a haircut. And a new career that we see a lot in the industry that doesn't require a license is a beauty influencer. Beauty influencers teach us what's on trend in the industry, and many of them test products for us before we head out to the store and spend our pretty pennies. So if you want to give your opinion and show off your skills, you don't need a license to grab that coin. You just need a camera and a YouTube account. And we'll definitely do some interviews with some beauty inspirers that work in the influencer industry, so they can tell us what it's really like behind the camera and being able to work in different areas. And speaking of different areas, licenses do vary by location. So for example, there are places where a braider is considered a natural hairstylist, and they are required to have specific licensing. So it's very important that you check out the rules and laws in your area. And there are places that are more strict than others, where there are hours and requirements, and there are others that are a bit more lax. The process to obtain your license is not a walk in the park. It will take time, practice, studying, and dedication to your beauty career to make it to exam day and pass. But you can definitely do it, and many beauty pros out here can tell you what it's like, and we'll also have interviews in this area as well. So we have a lot to look forward to on this station. and we're in the last half of the year. It's a great time to get those goals completed that we made at the beginning of the year, and it's also a great time to add some new ones. So if you love beauty, it's your passion, and you want a career where you're in charge of your journey, take the step forward and make it happen, Trusty. Whether you choose a path that requires licensing or doesn't, I want to wish you much success on your journey, Trusty. Have fun and rake in that coin. And if you need help figuring out how many hours you need and more about schools in your areas and how much they cost, we do offer meetings that help you prep for getting your license. We go over what's needed, and we also call school on your behalf, getting all the info you need to help you make a decision. This shows you're ready to take your career seriously in the beauty industry. If you need help in this area, definitely book a consultation with us on our Instagram bio, and our Instagram is The Beauty Banks Co. You really need a license? I say it's best if you do have one, but it really depends on where you're located and what you're doing in the industry. But you want to check out the laws and regulations in your area to truly decide what route is best for you. You might go the traditional route, part-time, or maybe even apprenticeship. There are options, and choosing the right fit for your journey is completely up to you. Well, that wraps up our episode, Trusty. Let's keep the conversation going. Do you think we need a license to work in the beauty industry in 2024, or is it pointless? Let us know in the comments. And make sure that you join us for our next episode where we head back to school to history class, but of course the beauty version. I hope there's enough of an interesting game. We'll work on the outros a little bit more, but it's your host, Banks. Until next time, be beautiful and spread your sparkle.